Well, it said unable to do YouTube live streaming, but then I tried again and it looks like it might be working. So hopefully crisis averted.
Says this meeting is being live streamed, so
Well,
I
it
think
said
we're
unable
good.
to do Perfect. So, welcome to everyone, whether you're watching us live or you're viewing this after the fact on YouTube. We're really excited that you're here for this really interesting topic that we're sharing today. So, for those of you who are live, if you're in Zoom, we can use that chat function if you have questions or comments. If you're watching live on YouTube, we have the chat function on there as well, and I'll be monitoring that and I can share any questions or comments with the Zoom. If you're watching this after the fact and you have any questions, you can email Laura. So I think that's it for our opening announcements. So I will turn it over to Allison to kick us off.
All right, thank you, Alana. Welcome everyone for being here tonight. It is great. We have been doing these virtual volunteer gatherings since 2020. It's 5 years. That's pretty amazing. And I am so grateful we can do them in person rather than just virtual. But the fact that we switch them off between in person and virtual is, I think, really meaningful and has a sense of equity and inclusion to our entire group. So I'm very grateful for that. So thank you to Laura and Alana for always making these things happen on a monthly basis. And thank you all, of course, for being our amazing volunteers. As you've heard me said more than once, we couldn't do even a quarter of what we do without you guys. So thank you all so much. And to build on that, thank you so much to the amazing volunteers that came last week to have a great brainstorming session around our revamped permanent exhibit that will be going in the visitor center and hopefully the end of first quarter 2026 that talks about the inclusive history of the rancho encompassing the 27,000 acres. It was a great discussion. We had some staff there with myself, Alfred, our collections manager Magda, and Alana, of course, our amazing education coordinator. And I think we had 11 volunteers there, and everyone contributed, whether it was from comments to head nods to we agree to head shakes, like, no, we don't want to do that. It was a great discussion, and I think it gave us a really forward path about what we're going to do in that permanent exhibit. And as all of the volunteers know, you guys are our frontline people. You interact with the public. You know what the public wants to hear and what they want to see and the format wise. So thank you guys for all being there. Great. Staff is synthesizing the information. And then we will be having a follow-up meeting with the same volunteers. And if anyone else wants to join, we totally welcome that because it was a great discussion. And also wanted to add, when we're talking about water and water conservation and so forth, that Larry Rich from the Office of Sustainability from the city of Long Beach will be at the Rancho on October 23rd in person, 6 to 8, to give a talk about the historical narrative of water at the Rancho. For those that don't know, perhaps, is that uh, the river used to be really where the country club was. And Larry gives a great talk on the historical narrative of water and how that affects the rancho. So we hope you can all be there. So we've got, and if you haven't seen it, Waterways, our exhibit on the connection between water, humans, and climate, is on exhibit through November 8th. So you guys were there, help promote us, tell the word, and there's so much going at the rancho. And with that, I want to turn it over to Alfred, our Director of Operations, for a couple updates, and then we'll go back to Laura.
All right, thanks, Allison. Thank you all for being here. A couple updates, what's going on site at the Rancho. As you guys have probably noticed over this past month, we've been painting the historic adobe. That project will wrap up this week. The adobe's looking great, so if you haven't seen it, please get a chance to go by and check it out. Also, a few other notes. We are working on restoring the historic door chime that's in the 1930s living room. That is being sent out to a restorer this week. And eventually, when it gets back, it'll be functioning. So that's exciting. The new giving tree goes up tomorrow. The movable wall's been painted, and we're going to install the new giving tree outside of the visitor center. So come by and check that out and donate if you have a chance. Amanda wanted me to relay some of the updates in the gardens. She's been working on irrigation in the orchard. She's raised up all the canopies of the trees, so it's looking really nice in there. Doing some deadheading with a lot of you volunteers, and working on improving soil health by adding soil conditioners, fertilizers, mulch, compost, that sort of stuff. And then in the maintenance yard, we're working on cleaning that up and doing some DG projects around the site. And as Allison mentioned, Waterways is only up until November 8th. So if you haven't got a chance to see it, please stop by the visitor center and see it. It's a really great exhibit. And it's going to be going away here in about a month and a half. So now's your last chance.
Okay. Well, now to the main attraction tonight. Danny, are you ready? Yes, she is. I see she's ready. She is going to be doing a great presentation. We've just got a run through, and it's going to be even more comprehensive and have some very interesting things that I didn't realize was going to be included. So it's going to be even better than I thought. So thank you for Danny Morgutia, the Water Resources Analyst with the City of Long Beach, for preparing this great presentation for us. We look forward to it, and take it away, Danny.
Thank you, and thank you all for allowing me to share space with you this evening to talk about Assembly Bill 1572 and one of our favorite programs at the Long Beach Utilities Department. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off just in case we get any technical difficulties while I move through this presentation. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, let me know if you see my screen, please. I'm going to go into presentation mode.
We can see I can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. I'll take myself off camera for a brief moment, and I'll go ahead and dive in. So thank you all again for allowing me to take up space in your meeting. My name, like I mentioned, is Danny Morgutia, and I serve as a Water Resources Analyst with the Long Beach Utilities Department. And at the Long Beach Utilities Department, we provide gas, sewer, and water services to the entire city of Long Beach. And as many of you may be aware, previous to merging with the gas department in the city of Long Beach, we were known as the Long Beach Water Department, where we provided sewer and water services to the city of Long Beach. But in late 2022, we decided to merge with the gas utility from the Long Beach Energy Resources Department and rebranding ourselves as the Long Beach Utilities Department to become a one-stop shop for all of our customer needs. And we are governed by a 5-member Board of Public Utilities Commissioners with an annual budget of $397 million with 522 dedicated employees. And I apologize, I'm not able to see the top part of my screen, but so I'm going to go ahead and dive into what every division does for the water, sewer, and gas division. So for water, we focus on source supply, on the treatment of water, on the distribution of water to ensure that everybody has access to water, engineering and construction, and of course, maintenance. And the gas division focuses on gas distribution, engineering and construction as well, and of course, maintenance, very important. And last, the sewer division focuses on conveyance, spill prevention and cleanup, and most importantly, maintenance too. But this is the primary subject that I'd like to discuss with everybody today, which is Assembly Bill 1572. Before I dive into that, Our water portfolio is comprised of three primary sources. 55% is local groundwater, 30% is imported water that we purchase from the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, which sources the water from the State Water Project and the Colorado River. And 15% of our water portfolio is recycled water that comes from the LA County Sanitation District Reclamation Facility. Or rather, it's provided by the LA County Sanitation District Reclamation Facility. And Assembly Bill 1572, passed by the California State Legislature in October 2023, permanently bans the irrigation of non-functional turf with potable water on CII properties. So NFT is short for non-functional turf. CII stands for commercial, industrial, and institutional properties. So this bill excludes landscapes that are irrigated with recycled water, and it excludes cemeteries. These landscapes do not need to be compliant with this bill. The bill does include non-recreational areas within schools, common areas within HOAs, and of course, institutional, industrial, and commercial properties. There are provisions in the bill to ensure that trees are properly irrigated and maintained as a property is trying to be compliant with this bill. So if there are trees that share the same irrigation valve as NFT, non-functional turf, then that non-functional turf is exempt from this bill, just to make sure that the trees continue to get watered. Now, what is NFT? Non-functional turf, NFT, is defined within the bill as grass or turf that isn't functional. So it doesn't serve a public use function. It is only there for decorative purposes. So this is grass that nobody is using for any particular purpose that's drinking up precious potable water. And in contrast, functional turf is defined within the bill as turf or grass that's located within CII landscapes that is used for recreational purposes, or maybe it's a community gathering space. So let's say, for example, just hypothetically, there's a city hall located in the state of California, and it is surrounded by a lot of grass that doesn't contain any trees, that's drinking up precious potable water. But let's say once a year, the city manager decides to have an agency or let's say a Christmas picnic or a Christmas dinner for all of the staff members that work at City Hall. Because that grass is being utilized by the employees at City Hall, then that area would be considered functional because people are gathering in that space. This is an example of what NFT looks like on public properties. So we have a library right here. The first image is a library. The second image is a fire station with a lot of grass that's not being utilized by the public or by the occupants of the property. And below is a street parkway. So these are all properties that are managed by a city. Those are considered public agency CII NFT examples. These are NFT examples in commercial properties, including strip malls, gas stations, warehouses. And these are NFT examples in common areas within HOAs. And per the legislation, a common area is legally defined as an area that is not designated for individual use, but it's being maintained by the homeowners association. There is a pathway to compliance. There is a phase compliance plan for this bill. So by January 2027, so January 1st, 2027, all public properties or properties that are managed by the city must be compliant with this bill. By January 2028, commercial properties must be compliant, followed by HOAs in 2029. And in 2031, or when state funding is available, public properties that are located within disadvantaged communities that are categorized by the state must be compliant with this bill. And by June 30th, 2030, CII properties greater than 5,000 square feet must self-certify their compliance with the state. Now, we don't know what that certification is going to look like, if there's going to be a portal, if local water agencies or utilities are going to have to develop this certification portal ourselves. We haven't had any instruction or any feedback from the state just yet, but we're definitely staying up to date with them regarding how this process is going to look like. And non-compliance with AB 1572 can result with civil liabilities or penalties that can be imposed by either the state or local urban water retail suppliers through locally adopted ordinances. So Long Beach Utilities Department would be considered a local urban water retail supplier. Now I'm going to dive into one of the water efficiency programs that we have that has been really instrumental in our overall AB 1572 implementation strategy. And so the goal of this bill is to ensure that CII properties use water more wisely. And water use efficiency is pretty much that, making sure that you're making daily choices that ensure that you're using water more wisely, that you're understanding all the resources that are going into your potable water supply, and you're using that potable water supply as wisely as possible. And what that means is not using it on grass that nobody is actually utilizing within CII properties in this case. And so we have a broad suite of programs that are available to our customers in the city of Long Beach, ranging from both indoor programs and outdoor water conservation programs. We have our Lawn to Garden program, which I'm going to talk about shortly. We have our Native Plant Parkway program, which is a program that's completely free for our customers. We have a DIG program, Direct Install Gardens program. We have restaurant programs to encourage folks to use water more wisely. And because we are a member agency of the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, our customers are also able to utilize the SoCal Water Smart rebates that Metropolitan Water District has. And now I'll dive into the Lawn to Garden program, which is our flagship turf replacement program. This program has played a pivotal role in our policy implementation strategy for Assembly Bill 1572 and preparing our community to be compliant with this bill. And it's also played a pivotal role in engaging with our community in a meaningful way where we pay folks to use water more wisely. And so this program pays customers to remove their grass and install beautiful climate resilient gardens. And through this program, we require folks, when they're removing their grass and installing a beautiful climate resilient garden, we're asking them to include key design elements within their landscape, including a stormwater retention feature to ensure that when we do get heavy rains, that water gets retained onto the property and doesn't spill over into the sidewalk. We encourage folks to install a certain amount of California native plants and pollinator plants to support the biodiversity in the city. And we also require folks to ensure that they update their irrigation to be a little bit more water efficient. So we don't want to see irrigation systems that spill onto the street or cause runoff. And the goal of this program is not only to encourage folks to save 50 to 70% of their water bill every month, but it's also to beautify the city of Long Beach, to increase biodiversity, and to, of course, improve air quality in our city as well. So the funding incentive structure for the Lawn to Garden program is really dependent on whether you're a residential property owner or if you are a CII, commercial, industrial, and institutional property owner. So for residential property owners who are interested in removing their grass and installing a beautiful climate resilient garden, we pay them $3 per square foot for their front yard and their backyards. for every square foot of grass that's transformed to a low water using garden. We also pay folks to utilize one of our landscape designers if they're interested, one of our professional landscape designers through our design reimbursement program, which I'll talk a little bit more about shortly. And through the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, we are able to pay our customers who are participating in the Lawn to Garden program $100 per tree that they install within their project area. And I mentioned that this program is also available for CII customers, commercial, industrial, institutional property owners. And depending on which category they fall under, whether they're a public agency, whether they are a gas station or a library or industrial customer, they get paid between $4 and $7 per square foot of grass that they transform to a beautiful climate resilient garden. And we made sure that we increased the incentive for them because of Assembly Bill 1572, because I mentioned a little while ago that these deadline dates to be compliant are swiftly 2027, I feel, is practically tomorrow. So we're trying to ensure that we are doing what we can to scale our programs and remove any barriers to participation for our programs for all of our customers, but especially commercial, industrial, institutional property owners, to encourage them to take advantage of this program now and get ahead of the curve and make their property compliant before 2027, 2028, 2029, etc. Now, I mentioned we have a design reimbursement program as well. This program is incentivizes our community to utilize one of the lawn to garden designers that we have on our website. So we have, I believe we have 18 now, actually. We have about 17 to 18 lawn to garden designers that we have meticulously vetted. So we looked at their licenses, their certifications, their portfolio to ensure that they truly specialize in low water using garden designs and installations. And once they're approved on our list, once they're approved into the program, we add them to our website. And we encourage our customers who don't want to do their designs on their own to utilize one of the designers that we have, and we pay our customers to do so. So we pay our residential property owners up to $1,500 for utilizing one of these lawn to garden designers, and we pay our public agency applicants up to $3,000 for utilizing one of our lawn to garden designers. And we do this because typically public agency properties are much larger than a residential property in Long Beach. So we want to make sure that we better meet the needs, the financial and resource needs of our CII customers. And if their designs cost a little bit more because of how large their property is, we want to be able to help them as much as we possibly can. And next, another thing that we did to encourage folks in the city to be compliant with Assembly Bill 1572 and remove their grass, install a beautiful climate resilient gardens utilizing the Lawn to Garden program, we also created CII landscape designs that serve as guides to help create a visual identity for the coastal Long Beach. So we have three broad categories of these designs. We have three sub-variations for each of these three broad categories. So we have the Rocky Coast template, we have a low, tall, and near shore sub-variation submodel that I'm going to show you shortly. We have the Coastal Sage Scrub template, which is our classic California native design template, and we have the Coastal Prairie as well. This in particular is our Rocky Coast tall shrubs sub-variation model. So this sub-variation model, the tall shrubs model, contains desert adapted plants that have taller shrubs in the middle of the design that work as a screen or a windbreak or a physical barrier. And so this particular sub-variation model works really well for those areas that are difficult to reach, or maybe they have difficult irrigation or no irrigation. So this is a really good design to consider for street medians. This is our coastal sage scrub large scale ground covers model. This is a great landscape design for CII, commercial, industrial, institutional properties that have landscapes with heavy slopes or like intense slopes. So these large ground covers work to ensure that soil erosion is reduced and the property doesn't experience runoff. And last, this is the blue-gray tone subvariation model of our coastal prairie option. This particular model contains a blend of really beautiful ground covers, perennials, grasses. It's a very unique design that we recently installed in collaboration with Surfrider Foundation and the Marine Bureau in front of the Queen Mary. This is a project that we recently completed with the Marine Bureau. It's a public agency within the city of Long Beach, and this is their harbor master's office. So we have been working collaboratively with the Marine Bureau and the Surfrider Foundation to assist the Marine Bureau in transforming all of their non-functional turf across the coast of Long Beach to beautiful climate resilient gardens, utilizing those 9 landscape designs that I was referring to, as well as the Lawn to Garden program. And so this is just one of the many projects that we have done with them. And we recently so this is a pre-image with the design here in the top right-hand corner. And this is how it looked like directly after we installed the garden with local volunteers. And I recently conducted a post-inspection, and this is what it looks like today. Super beautiful, super lush, biodiverse. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's stunning, and it's so much better than that first image here of grass that's just utilizing precious potable water. I'm really proud of this particular project. This is another project that we're actively working on. We're trying to select sites for NFT that have high utility. We want to see sites, we want to work on sites that have a lot of foot traffic because we want to influence more people and have folks experience these California native gardens on their own. We want to inspire them to consider similar sustainable solutions on their own properties. And this is Alamitos Bay, home of some of the Olympic Games that are taking place in 2028. So we're hoping by the time 2028 comes around, these gardens are beautiful, they're lush, they're well maintained, they're fully grown and mature. This is 2 recently installed panels because this area here is a series of grass panels all along this basin in Alamitos Bay, along with more grass panels here on this side. I'm hoping you can see my mouse moving on the screen. And so each panel is being transformed into beautiful climate resilient gardens, 1 panel at a time with local Surfrider volunteers. And of course, Marine Bureau staff members and Long Beach Utility staff members. And we have other AB 1572 water champions across the city beyond the Marine Bureau that have already done their part to make their properties compliant with Assembly Bill 1572. And I really do want to highlight Bridgeport HOA. They are the first HOA in the city to commit to removing their grass and installing a beautiful climate resilient garden. These are images that we took directly after the garden installation. I just wanted to highlight them. They're definitely pioneers in this space because up until Bridgeport, we haven't had any HOAs participate in the Lawn to Garden program. So I'm really, really proud of them, and I'm proud of their community, and I'm really proud of this project. I'm very happy that we were able to fund it. And you can see here, they installed so many beautiful trees, additionally adding to the biodiversity initiatives that this program aims to encourage across the city. And so with that, that concludes my presentation today. Thank you all so very much for allowing me to share this space with you all and be present in your meeting. And I'm happy to answer any questions or any concerns you all may have.
Thank you so much, Danny. That was very interesting. I'm having a hard time with my video.
My pleasure.
There we go. Yes. Does anybody have any questions that they'd like to share with Danny? It doesn't look like it. It was very comprehensive. You explained everything so well.
Perfect. I'm glad. I'm happy to follow up with any digital flyers or if there's an opportunity for us to drop off some hard flyers, please let me know. We're more than happy to deliver them.
Well, we'll be getting the word out with this this presentation. There wasn't a lot of people here, but a lot of people do look at it on our YouTube channel. So we'll definitely be getting the word out. So thank you so much.
I feel
And-
like there's a hands up though in the chat, in the participants with Jacqueline.
Oh, is there? If somebody, do you want to be promoted, Jacqueline? Oh, yes, I see a hand up there. Can you promote her?
I sure can.
Okay, let me try it that way. Audio, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, is this going to be moving into throughout Long Beach into individual homes? I understand where the blanket is and through the number of years. And, you know, if you're having HOA, obviously they're doing that. But individual homes throughout the city, is this going to be moving into a requirement? How the laws are set now, is it going to move into individual private homes?
I do not foresee that happening. We have seen such a tremendous participation and support from our residential single family property owners in the state of California. We haven't really seen a lot of commercial, industrial, institutional properties in the state of California do their part to conserve water, and I believe that's one of the primary reasons why this bill was passed to ensure that everybody's doing their part. I don't foresee this ever being a mandate for single family residences in the state of California.
And I just think continuing the education as people move forward. I personally am an HOA, so this is very interesting that in my next board meeting, I'll bring it up about what they're doing about HB 1512. So thank you very much.
Of course, Jacqueline, and if there's a need or desire to have Long Beach Utilities present to your board of directors for the HOA that you live at, please feel free, or you work for, volunteer for, please feel free to let me know. I'm happy to stop by either in person or virtually to present a similar presentation like this, but maybe I could tailor it to your audience and incorporate more HOA images into the presentation.
Okay, thank you. It was a great presentation. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, and this is from you, Danny, Executive Director. So how does this, if it does, protect nonprofits, organizations who have usable gardens? I'm guessing it doesn't, but how does that work?
So usable gardens, functional areas, grass that's being used for any particular public use function, meaning folks are recreating in the space, there's a bench there and people are hanging out a few hours a day reading a book, or for NGOs or CBOs in the city that have an office and they're surrounded by grass, but that grass is being utilized for any purpose that you may have. Maybe you're having a food drive a few times a year, or maybe you're having, employees engage in that area to have a picnic a few times a year or once a month. That area is considered functional. So it doesn't need to be compliant with this bill.
Okay, thank you so much.
Good. You're welcome. Great question.
So, do you have a lot of response for your Lawn to Garden program? Do you feel like just that incentive is doing what you need to get people to install the sustainable gardens?
For the folks that we are able to engage with in terms of, being able to present to HOA boards or being able to attend a meeting where there's like commercial, industrial, institutional property owners there, or maybe when we're presenting to public agencies in the city, like the Marine Bureau. Once they hear about this bill and they see that we have a resource to help them be compliant with it, um, we've been getting a lot of great engagement. We've had HOAs jump on the AB 1572 bandwagon and remove their grass, install beautiful climate resilient gardens because in schools and a church recently as well. Of course, the Marine Bureau has transformed a lot of the beachfront properties to beautiful climate resilient gardens. Because something that we're always discussing with folks is this program is predominantly funded by grant dollars. And so grant dollars, as we all know, they come and go, they ebb and flow with every administration. And so we have the money now. The program is active now. We're giving a lot more now than ever. So we are always encouraging folks to take advantage of the program now, because there is no guarantee that we're going to have this type of incentive in the future, depending on grant funding availability. So we have had great engagement so far for the folks who actually know about this bill and are ready to commit.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't think that we see anybody else having questions. And so I think we can wrap it up and thank everybody for showing up. And we hope to see you around the Rancho very soon. We have our virtual gathering coming up. October is almost upon us, and we will be sharing ghost stories from the past and the present. And we will also have, as Allison mentioned, the water presentation by Larry Rich. And anybody who's looking at this that's a public hours volunteer, I bet you can find an opening. And so we hope to see you around. And thanks for coming. And good night.
Thanks,
Night,
everyone.
everybody.
Thanks you,
Thanks,
Danny.
Danny.
Laura, really
You're welcome.
quickly, I think you said virtual gathering for October, but is it virtual or in person?
No, I didn't mean, no, it's in person. It's a brown bag on the 21st, and you bring your dinner, and we will provide the food and the dessert and the beverages. But volunteers bring their own, and we'll be gathering in the sun porch.
All right. Sounds good. Hope to see everyone around the Rancho soon.